Your ancestors want you to know that the work that you have put into making friends with your ego, your personality self, and softening into your relationship with this part of you that felt like foreign, wild, unmanageable, this relationship building that you've been doing is paying off in creating something for you that doesn't have to be micromanaged or, like hovered over. It is bearing its own fruit, and you're able to step back and let it flourish on its own because you have approached this part of yourself, this wild, your connection to nature and the natural world, with this softness and compassion. You have not tamed yourself in the sense that you have flattened or domesticated yourself, but you have come into relationship with the part of you that is meant to be the wild self. So you can take these dips into meeting your wild self and doing things that you may have been scared to embody before, living as your wild woman, if that's a term that you resonate with, connecting to the part of you that is untamed and relating to it with love and acceptance, and recognizing that that is just as much a part of what makes you whole as the part of you that, the parts of you that have always been affirmed by outward society. So what else do your ancestors want you to know right now? And in relating to this part of yourself, the wild self, the deeper self, you have shed these layers of performance and the attachment to needing to be seen in a certain way to be accepted. You have come back into balance, especially in your relationships. So cultivating this inner relationship is bringing balance into your outer world, into the way that you are relating with the external others that are in your experience. Yeah, and it's bringing you some sort of relief from this sense of shame and being overburdened, feeling like heavy as the head is what's coming through here. Feeling like you have too much going on in your mind, you're having trouble sleeping, maybe you've been going through insomnia, and this additional sword is straight up and down. So it's a balanced version of these swords that are hanging over this person's head. You're able to cut through all of the noise that has been keeping you on high alert and making you feel like keeping you in this cycle of hypervigilance. What other messages do the ancestors have for you today? Ooh. So we have the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Wands. Okay, this is a progression from feeling overburdened, like you were trying to carry everything on your own, to a lot of fast, fiery movement, moving forward very quickly. So whatever shift you've made recently that has freed you from feeling like you couldn't see what was in front of you because you were holding on to it, maybe even like a lot of things that you really care about, things that you're passionate about, a lot of projects that you have going on, but you are trying to do too much on your own. So maybe you asked your ancestors for help, and that's why this message is coming through. And because you have been able to let go of feeling like you needed to micromanage and be in control, and this Ten of Wands feels very connected to this Nine of Swords, because you had taken on too much, and so it was keeping you up, and you had a lot of anxiety, and it's like you were burning the candle at both ends. So you weren't able to sleep, and then during the day you were like, had way too much going on. So there's been some shift that's created this sense of freedom and forward momentum for you. And you are reconnecting with your fire and your passion. What is this? Ooh, King of Wands, hell yeah. So yeah, this like release has allowed you to start moving forward and step into the authority that you already have around directing your energy. Yeah, there was some sort of situation where it felt like you won in a sense, but at what cost? So the Five of Swords is like, you know, truly there is no victor. And that may have been this loss. Feels like it was really significant in you moving from the Ten of Wands to the Knight of Wands and then the King of Wands. So something happened where you realized it wasn't worth your life. Whatever you were focusing on, whatever you were overburdened with and you were holding tightly to, this Five of Swords moment showed you what was really important to you and what you needed to release in order to move into your King of Wands energy. Tell me about this Five of Swords moment. What do we need to know about this? That feels really significant. Page of Cups. Okay, so, and we have the Hierophant on the bottom. So, something with your emotions were getting the best of you, and there was some sort of fantasy that you were clinging to. It's like you were trying to see every possible outcome, and like if you could just predict the way that it could potentially go, like you were looking down every path and then like, well, what if this happened, and then like the decision tree branches off, and then, well, this could potentially happen. I hope I'm explaining that well, because that sounds exhausting. So this comes from this place of a wounded inner child where if you could predict, then you could kind of brace yourself. And yeah, so it feels like you have released this kind of dogmatic view of feeling like this is connected to wounding around religion and the concept of someone all-powerful judging you. And because of that deep influence on your early life, you built up this habit of needing to anticipate all possibilities so that you could prepare. I feel like you may have thought of this as being, fair or neutral, like you're just trying to prepare for everything, but this definitely has much more of a negative lean to it. In reality, this was just like organizing your worries under the guise of trying to feel prepared. And you have been able to see that there is no winner in this scenario when you are using your energy in this way and allowing it to be scattered out into the infinite future, trying to pinpoint infinite possibilities of which could happen so you could prepare for them. So this has created a massive release of energy. So you can now, you're in a position of leadership now, and being able to use that fire and that drive in ways that are moving you forward towards the future that you're wanting to see, rather than focusing on what you don't want to happen. So yeah, this is freeing you up for this leap into the unknown, this quantum leap into feeling prepared for anything in a much more, significantly more positive way. It takes a lot of courage and strength to release this kind of patterning, and your ancestors are really proud of you.